Live from Crawford Studios,
it's CC and NJ Guy.
Woohoo!
Welcome back.
What's
Holla!
everybody doing? How's everything going?
Excelente.
Good. How's the weekend going?
So far, so good. Yeah, had a
we're
good
doing,
full day yesterday.
We're usually recording Friday nights. We're here Sunday. We're doing Sunday brunch.
Like a Sunday morning.
We're gonna have some Bloody Marys, mimosas.
Yes. Coffee and donuts. Yeah, I just
we're gonna have some weird things like pesto in our toast or some weird stuff that brunch places.
This guy. Yo, we should have you cook on this one day. We have a hot plate over here.
Nice.
Ooh, it'd be
Excuse
fun.
me.
A cooking episode.
Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon?
It's not a bad idea. We should have a cooking one.
Yo,
I'm just saying.
We'll have
Yeah.
to move the studio into the kitchen or something.
Ooh,
We can do that easy.
yeah, bro.
Anyway,
Yes.
what's going on for our topics today?
So, what we're doing today is it's not one topic. We got 3 topics we're covering, right? So first, we're going locally in Pennsylvania. There's a story that developed at the end of last year into this year about a grave robber. But this grave robber wasn't just robbing for goods. He was robbing for some loving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Selling some
money.
shit.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, dude, insane.
we'll talk about
Fucking
that. It's a
crazy.
little bizarre story. So you can kind of guess where that's going to be going.
Yeah.
And, we mentioned in a previous episode, we kind of mentioned Stranger Things. It's a show we love.
Right.
We love to talk about pop culture. We love to talk about TV,
Yep.
sci-fi, horror. So this is right up our alley. And we're just going to recap the series, our favorite things, like maybe some fan reactions, stuff like that. And then we are going to change gears a little bit. We're going to get into a little more serious topic, which is euthanasia, pet loss, stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that. Anyway, so let's dive into this wild story about the grave robber. So Lou has the article right here now. He's going to give you a little recap for those who don't know what's happening, but you will find out.
Yeah, for those who didn't hear about this. Yeah. Where'd you get that from, Lou? What was the
It's Channel 2. Or
Okay.
Well, it's CBS.
CBS?
CBS
Got
is
it.
good.
CBS,
I know.
CBS News.
Right.
CBS FM.
Okay. So,
Go ahead.
the local man arrested for allegedly stealing human remains from Philadelphia area cemetery and storing them in his Ephrata home. So he's from Ephrata.
Ephrata
Home. Also
Philly.
admitted
Is that
to
a suburb
selling,
of Philly?
it
Yeah.
must be. Selling some of the remains according to search warrants. Jonathan Gerlich, 34, now behind bars, facing more than 500 charges. If the detectives discovered the remains, including more than 100 skulls, inside the home of the 100 block of Washington Avenue in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, on Wednesday.
Jesus.
Obtained search warrants, Search Friday, reveal more about how authorities were able to identify Gerlich as a suspect, along with what was found inside his home and a storage facility.
Dude.
He ran out of room, bro.
Yo, seriously.
During searches earlier this week, what he was doing with the stolen remains. Detectives have already been investigating reports of burglary. I'm not going to even try again. From Pennsylvania cemeteries, went on December 23rd, 2025. A tip was submitted in Lancaster City Police Department. Ipsos told police they know someone who recently had been in his house and found a partially decomposed corpse hanging in his basement.
Oh, shit. Hanging in the basement.
Yes.
That's
Bro, you see what I'm saying?
And it's also understood, I think he was also trying to sell some of this stuff,
you said
too.
so he's trying to, so like you said, Tom, that's probably how he got busted.
Yeah.
That's how he got caught, trying to sell them, and somebody, went to the house. Because, you're not letting nobody in your house if you're doing that kind of crazy shit,
Yeah, but then that shows how fucking crazy you are, because if you think what you're doing is normal and you're just letting people walk into your house nonchalant and take them in the basement where you have corpses hanging,
Right.
you're feeling like, hey, it was kind of like the Ed Gain story.
Right.
He felt like he did nothing wrong.
Right.
You know what?
Yeah.
This was normal.
Right.
I'm going to say that this guy has probably been doing this for
I would imagine. So.
very long time, because he got so comfortable to the point where, like, oh yeah, come down the basement, check it out. I got some bodies down here.
But that goes, but see, I don't know, man, because again, so this is like, before we started the show, like we said, we were talking about, just like how long was he really doing it? Because not for nothing, you go to almost any given cemetery, a newer cemetery,
right?
And you're looking at what 100, you still got 100 bodies there. You know, however old they would be or whatever would be another story. But, you know, because of depending on what it was he was doing with the bodies, you know what I'm saying, selling the bones or whatever, you know, newly deceased, picking up the bodies to do dirty things to, because we talking about, he said necrophilia.
Well, check this out. So check this out real quick. The search warrant also reveals Gerlich had allegedly stolen items like headlamps, gloves, a metal cutting wheel, along with other items detectives said were commonly used in burglaries from local hardware stores. The tips are direct Detective Gerlich's Instagram account, which follows other accounts in taxidermy, skeleton collecting, and sales. And the sale of other oddities. The tips also claimed Gerlich had disappeared for a few days in November and said he had been in Chicago selling human skulls.
Well, there it is. So then maybe he wasn't. But then, so he wasn't sexing them. He was just cutting them up to sell oddities.
Well, why were they? Why were?
Well, I'm sure more is going to come out. We don't know that for sure, but
I thought I heard that in the news that he was.
I thought so too. Yeah? I thought I heard the same thing as well.
Okay, I didn't hear. I didn't
heard.
But
you are right. Until we actually officially hear it and they have everything out,
maybe it's speculative.
Right.
Just the fact he didn't even have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that would like be a bonus. As far as, you know, sick people are concerned.
Bonus.
Yeah,
bonus boner.
in a sick way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, let's add a bonus to it right now. He was
you know
also
what?
banging.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
like,
hey baby, how you doing?
But like the thing is like you know, the like what drives someone to do that? Like what is it? Like you know what I mean? Like I don't understand.
Well, but again, so let's just say for this conversation that it was a thing that he did. I don't want to say subconscious, but you know, he never had the real oomph to do it. Like he was like nervous and whatnot. Then, like we said, and I'm not blaming the show for it or any other show for it, but now he sees that show, the Ed Gein story, Monster, the Ed Gein story, right?
Yeah.
Now he's like, what? Because on the show, they showed, because he was in what was it? Ed Gein was in the 1930s, something like that. So that then now you're looking at all the serial killers that came after him, that they all were like, Ed Gein, he's the man, like because of him and the stories of this or whatever. Right. So that then they did it. So now every serial killer after that has now used every serial killer before them. You know what I mean? As like the example. And, you know, we all have sat and, you know, we sit thinking about something that somebody else did that we want to do. You know, not saying that we were sitting here thinking about how to bury a body or whatever, but what it is that we're going to do not to get caught or to just make it run smooth or to make sure that, you know, the machine doesn't stop working, whatever it is, because of stuff that we've done in the past. So then if he watched this show, because he had, you know, he was a little bit off, then now he's like, yo, I can do it and I'm going to do it like this and not get caught because I'm not going to do what they did before me.
But he already blew that out of the water when he was going to places and selling them and then selling them online. So
all right, that's where it got ballsy.
True.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But because it's oddities. You know, remember back in the day in Coney Island, you know, or Ripley's Believe It or Not, you would see, you know, these oddities. This is the hand of the witch. But they weren't stealing from
graves, bro. They were getting it from museums and other places where they could use them.
This guy was probably saying, I need that money. I don't mind digging up a body and making it look like a mummy, and I'm just going to do it this way instead of going to the, you know, robbing shit at the museum. You feel me?
But still, and the whole idea of the fact too is like probably like against his mind, he's thinking this is a normal thing because to him there's nothing what he's doing because the way they portrayed it in the story of it, Gaines, it was kind of like even when the cops showed up at his house and shit happened, obviously it was on a movie and they had to dramatize.
Right,
I'm sure. Like, what's the problem? What's going on?
What are you talking about? I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't hurt anybody. You know, the bodies were already in the grave.
Yeah, all I did was it's just a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby. Yeah, you know, meanwhile, he was drinking out of the skull. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was eating his cereal.
Bowl,
yeah, his cereal.
There was cereal out of that guy.
Yeah, you said you didn't see it, right?
No.
Bro.
Oh, because you're talking about Ed Gein. You're not.
Yeah, we're talking about Ed Gein. Yeah.
It's
like reference back and forth.
There's a lot of similarities to this.
Yes.
And I'm sure he saw that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure he saw that.
Yeah.
And he was a fan of it. And he said he's been on several different sites selling stuff and groups that are into this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And also, hold on a second.
I'm sure there's big money in human remains.
There are,
this
bro.
This is what they found. Check it out.
Go ahead.
This is what they found. Over 100 human skulls, numerous human long bones, mummified human feet and hands, 2 decomposing human torsos,
right,
other assorted skeleton items. On Wednesday, detectives also Garlic reportedly told them that Garlic had storage locker at KO storage locker.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
Oh my God. So he
Yeah.
was storing them. So obviously he didn't have room in his house.
Well,
anymore,
no.
So he
Yeah.
was putting them somewhere else. There's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, when you start,
Hell yeah.
you know, I say, listen, if you're starting to run out of room at your house when you're stealing human remains,
yeah.
you gotta get a
You
place
gotta-
to put the
exactly.
evidence.
Was he
Fucking
looking
A, bro.
it as like a collector though? Like, oh, this is money. I'm banking this.
But why not?
But together.
Yeah,
with
Oh
God.
yeah,
no.
definitely all fucking
But
day.
there is people who actually, I remember watching one of those shows that like of odd things that people do. There was a guy who would he would buy them online legally, but you could buy like, you know, like a skull, like a real human skull that was like found, or I don't know how they get them. They're probably cadaver.
What I was gonna say,
I'm saying
yeah,
they probably
exactly.
Probably the
So-
legal way they get them.
Right.
Probably like a medical.
Oh
what
yeah,
are they-
right.
Yeah,
People donate their bodies to science all the time.
yeah,
but
right.
You can't.
know,
You can't just buy a body.
No.
though.
no, you can't. I'm sure you can't just buy the body, but you know, you
Call
might
one
be
of
able to
those
get
places for
the
science.
Yeah,
Can
check out
I
Facebook.
buy one? Do you
Facebook.
sell the personal sellers?
just get that shit.
Right?
Insane. My God. But you're right. You know, he could, however way that somebody else would be able to get it. You know what I mean? You can make a fucking lamp out of the bone. Out of the hand, out of a foot.
Right. Oh,
You know what I mean?
Look, that's how Head Games was. He was reading those crazy books.
Right.
That girl was bringing him, his
Right.
girlfriend,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call her.
Uh-huh,
She was just as demented as he was.
Right.
She was getting fucking turned on by it.
Yeah, I know.
But he was all about what's her name in Germany who was making lampshades and stuff.
Oh
out of
yeah,
people's
right.
skins
Out
and
of people's skin and whatnot.
everything. So he was
Yeah.
doing it in his house. He had it on his chairs. He was
Right.
doing it like, you know, and he was leaving the on.
Yes, yes. 'Cause
So
that was the trademark.
What I want to see is happening, because now that the story is new, it's fresh, and more information is going to be coming out.
Right.
I'd like to see when they get everything, what's behind his psychological profile.
Oh, right.
What's
Definitely.
going on. Maybe we'll come back to this again and hit it
Yeah.
again.
You know what?
And we'll go down that road and see, hey,
let's
this is what
recap
was
it.
going on.
revisit
Hell
it.
yeah.
Hey, I'm down to revisit stuff anytime.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what though? I'm thinking though, if that whole like necrophilia thing ends up not being true, and he's doing it purely for money, now he might not be a sick person. He might just be a highly immoral person.
Right.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? He might be
yes.
like, I don't
Yes.
care. I'm digging up bodies. This is money.
It
I mean,
is,
he
it
might not-
is,
he
bro.
So it could go either ways. It
Yeah.
could be psychologically, or just someone who's just a
Yeah, like
terrible
yo,
person
whatever.
who
I'm
has
gonna
no
make money off of
morals.
this shit. Yeah,
I don't know,
He
Jersey
found an
guy.
easy way to make money.
yeah.
don't know.
I don't
Well,
know.
with a little bit of sickness.
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
but
Push back a little bit, only say it because even if you're sick enough just to think, hey, you know, I can rob graves and make money. Does that?
that's
But
true.
again,
You know what I'm saying,
it-
bro?
But
But
what
it-
did he
But
see?
that's not normal to begin with. You follow what I'm saying? Just the fact that you're already at that level where you're like, hey, who's going to care? They're dead already. It's not like you're going to miss
but
them.
see, now we're gonna go back to a couple of episodes back when we said
Yeah.
different cultures believe and are okay with certain things. So that then, if it, I'm not saying it was his family, but it's like, it's whatever. We're gonna, like I said,
But
make
we're
a
gonna
lamp
find
out of
out.
that. Yeah, we'll dig into
Okay.
this a little bit more.
Because more information is going to come out. For
Yeah,
sure. And
definitely.
We're gonna find
So
out
here's
for
a
sure.
question.
Uh-huh.
If you could write in the comments, anybody watching this video, tell me if you think that if someone's doing this just for money, are they immoral and sick, or
Yeah, that's a good question.
just one or the other? Are they
Right.
or are they just immoral
Or
and
they're just demented.
they're just
and,
sleazy?
Right.
Yeah.
That's fucking
So
weird.
I'm curious. I'm curious what people think. I want
Yeah, no,
what people think.
You got to believe what
I
Lou
wanna
says
see-
now. He's like,
I
they're
wanna
just
hear.
demented. Like, he's over, bro.
Yeah.
He's gone. It's over.
There's
There's no line for
There's
me
no
on this
line.
one.
No, I feel you. I hear you,
But
brother.
no, but I get it. But you're right, because everybody thinks differently, and I'm curious to see what other people say. So please do go to the comments on YouTube,
Yeah.
Right.
and you'll see it, and we want to know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
So-
freaking funny as hell, bro. Well, it's not funny that he was doing it.
No,
It's just
no,
funny,
but-
like, how, and
it's
not
gonna
funny,
be
haha,
curious.
but
It's going to be curious
Yeah.
to see what other people think. because
Exactly.
everybody has a different way of looking at things.
yeah.
So I'm curious to see what happens.
Yep. Because I would love to hear what his psyche is. I'm not going to lie,
Oh
bro.
yeah, no, me too.
I would love to
I
hear
want to know
what
what's
his...
going on there, because
Yeah.
this looks like another TV movie on Netflix.
Dude, yeah.
Happen.
Yeah, well, it might be just a half-hour show because,
Yeah, maybe. Well, they can break it down in this, but
episodes, yeah.
True.
Freaking insane, bro. That's that crazy shit, bro. Like, hello, 2026.
hey,
It's the shit is
I know
fucking
this
bananas.
year's starting a little crazy. You know what though? I will say this, not to digress too far, but I think if the year starts out crazy, and maybe the rest of the year will be good. Get the craziness out.
Yeah, get
maybe
it out
there's a little
early.
bit of
I hope you.
maybe there's
Yeah.
just they give you a certain amount of chaos points a year. So if you
Right.
get the chaos points out in the beginning of the
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
then the end of the year is going to be good. But if the year starts out good or non-eventful, you might get the chaos points are getting used
I think
later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely a roller
It's
coaster.
gonna be a roller coaster.
Yeah, you might be right though, Tom. I'm with you.
Let's
But I
get the
feel
chaos out
I'm here.
early.
Get it
Let's
out
get it out.
early. Get it done. You have until February 28th, and after that, we want peace and quiet and calm.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I think that would be nice most of the time, but
Yeah. Oh yeah,
we'll
man.
see what happens. It's crazy.
That is great.
But
man.
just the fact that eventually somebody's going to catch you. You know what I mean? I mean, because he was getting brazen to the point where he was actually going and selling this shit.
Yeah.
And then doing it online, and then he's on these groups. So they said his whole internet account, all his online stuff was flooded with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, he was just groups and whatever he was following and selling them, and and I'm thinking, how the fuck could you even sell these things online? I mean,
Dude.
that's the thing I'm curious about, because wouldn't that be flagged? You know how you can't do certain things on social media, you can't say certain words, right? Or mention certain, you have to say it in a way where it's not going to get you kicked off, right? Social media. Wouldn't it be the same thing for the groups that you're doing it on and everything like that, where if red flag comes up, they'll say, hey, by the way, somebody said so-and-so.
Well, two
There's
things.
usually groups that say, oh, you can't say this, you can't say that,
Right.
or you get
But
kicked out.
we're going to look at this two ways, okay? So one, you're looking at, and you know what I'm saying, that you have where you would use the code words. You know what I'm saying? So then you're not going to say, official human skull. You know what I'm saying? Human skull replica is what you would really say. You know what I'm saying? Cut it like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or you'd be on the dark web.
Right.
Because on the dark web, it's there you can put pretty much whatever. And now it's a matter of, it's the proper authorities to turn around and flag, and catch those things that pop up. Because on the dark web, they can't track like that. You know what I mean? So they're just looking and then tapping into your, into whatever it was that you would tagged in, or wherever they saw those words come up and get in, because there's all type of everything going on in the dark web. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. Him getting caught that way.
Well, somebody saw him, and then they found the stuff in the house too.
Yeah.
And it was reported already because they were burglars, so it was just a little bit at a time. They chipped away at it, and they found this guy, and then and they said he admitted to everything.
Oh, from real life horror to fictional horror, there are stranger things happening than this
That's right.
event.
Strange
and that
things.
is the segue. We're going to talk about Stranger Things.
Yes.
So the show had just finished, and we're all fans of horror and sci-fi, so this kind of lands right in our our favorite stuff.
Yeah, one of our cool little stuff.
The show finished, and I think overall it was a great show. The only downside to the show, I think, is because it takes so long to make, is the seasons were so far apart.
Yeah.
Oh, they were.
Yeah,
and they had to purposely do timeline jumps because the kids kept getting older.
Yeah, right.
They started out as kids.
Right.
They finished graduating high school.
Yeah.
They were
right. Yeah, preteens and fair, and a couple of them had already graduated. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So what is everybody's overall thoughts on the ending? Anyway, spoiler alerts. If you were haven't watched it yet, skip ahead like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Or, there'll be chapter mark.
Yeah. But so for me, I binged it, so I didn't have the gaps.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I just, for me, it was just a matter of after Thanksgiving to then, wait for the Christmas episodes and then for the New Year's episodes.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was like bang, bang, bang. I dug the ending, but now there's so many things that are popping up on social media, with what people believe how the ending should be, that there's going to be, sequel, prequel kind of stuff and, independent stories and whatnot.
Well, they could branch off in different directions.
Right, stuff like that.
I said the same thing at the end when I was watching.
For me, I don't think so. I think it was a good ending,
they
bro.
They tightened everything up.
I believe that they did.
Except for when they talked about, what's her name?
Al.
Right. going through that trap door, getting out of there, and then leaving and just disappearing and living somewhere else on the planet.
Right.
You know,
Well, that's what
or
she
not
wanted
the
to
trap
do.
door that they said that like Callie was still alive in her last
Right,
like,
she
thing
was.
to give her the illusion.
Right, because she didn't die while they were sitting there with her. Because she said, "Go."
She said, "I'm gonna die."
Yeah, she
Like,
says,
she
"I'm
knows
gonna die." Just go, kind of shit. And then that's when Elle left. And then you could see, because I'm not when I was watching it, you could see Elle, like her body was like kind of like
right.
And I was like, yeah, and that the sound things that were there, those big ass speakers, the
Yeah.
sonic things, that she wasn't affected by
Oh,
it.
you're right. That's right.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't affect.
But
I
see,
thought maybe because she was in the upside down, it didn't
right,
transfer.
but it
You're right.
did because when they were in the upside down and they turned them things on, it was messing her
You're
up.
right. So
Right.
that
And
is
Elle
the dead.
as well.
That is the dead giveaway. That she's
Yes,
still,
that was the one. So I knew she wasn't dead. So I just sat back and I watched while wifey and daughter were like, they were all in it. And I'm sitting back and I was like, yeah, I knew she wasn't dead.
It's like a sound cannon, right? It was
yes.
like,
yeah.
they did the same thing in Hulk.
Right.
When they wanted to
In
get him to slow down, they would shoot that out.
Yeah, that was the one with Ed Norton as the Incredible Hulk.
I think they could, if they really wanted to, they could do like, they could revisit the show like 10 years later.
Oh, yeah,
They
definitely.
could,
They could
actually physically wait 10 years later and say, hey, you know what? It's 2035. Let's do a spinoff series that takes place in the 90s or late 90s now.
And then fast forward them to that.
Fast forward like 1999, 2000.
Where they are now, kind of.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
They find,
right.
Elle finds them and
because
there's
right.
some,
Well, because look at what happened when Elle was it I forgot what season it was, second one, I guess what it is. Hopper, he was the only one that knew she was alive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, maybe she does know.
And they destroyed the upside down, right? But they didn't destroy the dimension that Vecna and the spider creature were on.
Right.
I don't know what does that the right
the
side
wormhole
up, they
is what they broke.
Yeah. So there's
they
no
didn't destroy. Right. So there's no connection. So they didn't destroy
that dimension or
the
whatever.
dimension or that area,
They
that
shut it
space,
down.
that part of space, what they want to call it. They just cut out the bridge to go from there to here.
They spin it off and be like, well,
They could.
Vecna wasn't dead. He was just very wounded.
Well,
Like,
I don't know. Because
he
Joyce
was
cut his head off.
rolling around on the floor. Yeah, it was just,
Yeah,
we don't
Joyce
know how the powers of him,
right. We don't know what Vecna's powers were.
Right.
We don't know what the
can he regenerate years later.
Right.
They
was it really his body that they
It was
did,
kind of
or
a
was
spider.
it?
Yeah, like
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
was it really his head they cut off, or she just cut off like what she presumed was his head because of how his body had turned into?
You're already like, going in different
Oh yeah.
directions already
We
now. So
could.
that's,
I'm just saying
absolutely.
though. I just feel that it was a great ending.
I
There's
liked
no
it.
need to revisit
It
it.
was good.
no.
I think it was at boom. It finished. It
Yeah.
finished. I think it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a good series. I like the way they went about it and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't do what you did. I didn't binge that one. That was one of the series we did. We watched it, and we watched the first couple of seasons because we weren't watching it, and then we were caught up, and then we just kept following it as each season came out.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So we did have to wait until it came out. For
Right.
us,
So now you're like,
so
what?
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was.
let's talk about let's go. Who's your favorite character, Kenny? Which
the guy, the dude that kept coming in bringing the stuff.
Oh,
the guy,
the
guy with the glasses.
Oh,
Yes, look at that guy. Yeah,
he is.
Murray was my first. He was my
Oh,
favorite
man.
from when he came in
from the beginning.
because he
What
was the
about when he was
conspiracy
doing
guy.
the karate when he was on the
Yeah.
plane?
Yeah. He learned it like off of a book and shit.
No,
Yeah.
he was in classes with little kids.
Well, I'm saying it was like
Right.
if he learned it off of a book, like it was like that
Right.
kind of like like you said, he was with little kids, so it was more like
but he knew it. He knew how
it
to
was
do it, bro.
freaking great. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I loved when he was like, "Hey, come here, Schnickums. Come here, get over here and get this done." Yeah. Yeah. That was my favorite. Why? Who was yours?
Me, I'm gonna say, after watching that series, I fucking love the entire Wheeler family. They are all fucking
Really?
badasses.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
That is true.
We didn't really get to see the dad be too much of a badass.
No, he punked out a little bit. A lot of his stuff. You know what I mean? In all honesty, that was the only one
all
that
the
was a punk.
badassery comes from the mom side of the
Yeah,
family.
exactly. Yeah,
She
because
is,
you had Nancy.
she was stabbing the Demogorgon.
Yeah,
with the
hell
broken
yeah, she
bottle.
was, bro. She went at it too. I thot she was dead.
Yeah, me too.
I thought
See,
she
I
was
liked
fucking
the
dead.
dad.
And then
because-
she would, yeah.
because he had some traumatic stuff in his life already, and that's why he was so close to Elle, and he didn't want to lose her, and that's
Oh,
why
you mean
No,
Hopper? No, we're talking
I'm
about
talking about the the Wheeler family.
My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I like what he was trying to do, but it was just more out of being because he cared for her and he didn't
Right.
want
Yes.
he didn't want to lose her.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of my favorite. So with the Wheelers, one of my favorite scene is when Max and Holly are trying to find what's going on in this desert,
Right.
and she's like, never mind. She goes, you aren't like Mike. You are Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing at that
Yeah.
scene because you know what? It's true. She's
Yeah.
the same way. She's like, no, we're doing this. I don't care what you say. It was-
Yeah. Yeah. Mike started to annoy me every once in a while, I mean, maybe because of, and I bugged out because of how I get hard-headed. I don't want to say disobedient,
yeah.
but just like these kids just kept questioning everything that the parents or the adults were saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but it's like at least give them a yeah, okay, and then sneak out the thing.
Yeah.
They're sitting there officially yelling back, no, it can't happen. I'm like, you little out of here.
This would be so much easier if he just lied.
Yeah, shut up, and then go sneak out and go and do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. That was the only thing that I was
the
like,
hard way.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was like, yo, you little sons of bitches. Like, you would have been punished, like real talk.
My parents would have killed him.
Yeah, Now, I will say though, it was crazy for me how fast they had to let other people in. You know what I mean? So they didn't let any adults in, but it was the whole gang of kids
From
that turned
the
around
whole
and
fourth
fixed it.
grade.
Yeah.
It was like the whole fourth grade class.
And they had to let them in. They had to let them know what was going on because of all the sneaking, because not for nothing, all these little fucking kids were nosy as hell. Well, what do you mean you weren't over there? Like Max, when they first like hanging out with Max, well, I want to know. Mind your damn business.
Right.
Like, you just got to.
Anyway, that's how she worked in school anyway.
It would have been
place.
in, but she wasn't. But I guess for me, that she wasn't even trying to be their friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she just wanted to know everything.
Right.
Hold up. I just let you in here. I can't let you know where I buried the bodies. Like,
Right.
I don't even know you like that. Like, are you a narc? Like, why are you asking so many fucking questions?
So
Exactly.
That's me.
One thing that I do like to say that I love about the show, and they were super clever in doing it because, again, they really worked hard at trying to make the 80s authentic. One of the things they did that was very smart was they took actors who were famous from the 80s and put them in that show. You
Yes.
got Winona Ryder. You got what's his
yeah.
name from the Goonies? He died the second or third season. He was her boyfriend. And this season you got Linda Hamilton.
Yes, that would bug me out because when she
I didn't
came
realize
on,
it was her at first.
Oh,
I was
I
like,
did.
wait a sec.
As soon as I saw her, I was like,
I
oh,
heard
shit.
her voice. I was like, wait, boop, boop.
Right.
That was Linda
But
Hamilton
you-
because
but
I
you know what was
recognized her with the
great?
hair.
Well, you know what was so cool is because her being that military person, that's her Terminator role.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Nails in this.
Yeah, and she
They-
kept
No
finding
shit.
them and
Look,
walking in up on them, and she
That's
was
no
there.
coincidence.
Yeah, no, they did it on
that
purpose.
on purpose to
Yes.
anchor people into the time, into the era.
Right.
And
Yep.
for me, thing I love about it is that whole fourth grade class. That's how that was my age when that was in that year.
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
like, I'm watching the show from that lens. Like, imagine
right,
if those
you
kids
were
were
that-
my
Yo,
classmates.
That's funny because
know,
we're
like-
watching it, and I don't know about
I
you,
was
but I'm
teen-
looking
I was
at
already a teen.
we
And I-
were the actual, like, we were Lucas and
Right.
Will and Mike.
I
Even
had
the
a
older
friend
kids.
growing up that looked just like Derek Turnbow without
you
the glasses.
serious?
He didn't have glasses. That was the only difference. Looked just like him. So it just like that whole era, just like it just puts me into the like I put myself into the show.
Yes.
In a way that really makes it feel like a different kind of experience. I don't know how to describe it because
But-
I'm like, I was around, and you know, it's funny because I'd never been able to do that with shows before because I feel like a lot of shows didn't take place because now they are. But
Mhm.
when I was younger, it was like Back to the Future takes place in present day, and when they go back in time, it's the 60s. You know,
Yeah,
I wasn't around then. I have no. But like with Stranger Things, I watched. I was around during that time. I
Yeah.
can put
Was that
myself in
age,
it.
right.
I
Yeah.
feel like I can, and I
Yes.
can go, wow, they're
Yes.
so accurate in that. Like
Yes.
they're eating a bag of Doritos and it's
Yeah.
the old school with the
Yep.
white label.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean,
I thought the soundtrack was good though too.
the soundtrack was bananas,
because they
bro.
had
I'm
some-
sitting there singing all the songs.
They had all.
Yeah,
good-
I was
they
singing
played
all
a
them
whole bunch of
songs.
good stuff.
Even they had Master of Puppets.
Yes.
From the
Yes.
previous season.
Yes. Bro, listen, that show was super nostalgic. I
Yep.
will say with what you're saying now, I'm surprised that the younger kids dug it because it wasn't just like Gen Z, Gen Xers.
And
Wait a
man,
Well, look at it.
Saying
That's
that the
the thing.
millennials,
Yeah.
the Gen Z, they were like, oh my God, we got to see
Well,
this.
look at it this way. It was like us when Grease and Happy Days came out when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Right? It was
Okay.
all towards the 50s. Everything was geared towards that. But we loved that shit. We went to the movies to see Grease. We watched Happy Days all our life, Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
All of that. And
Yeah,
we were
that's
attracted
true.
to that. So we
That
were in the
is true.
same age range when all that was happening.
Yes.
And we
Very
grew up
true.
through that, right? So
yeah, I didn't think about that.
The same thing is happening.
Yeah.
That's how I associate it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
And
each
you-
generation.
Yeah. And you know, now that you're saying it out loud, that's when I get into my duh moment, because like I said, the youngest child, my daughter, she's like all about thrifting and the retro look and all that other stuff. And I'm like, we wore that shit in the 70s, the bell bottoms, you know, and I'm like,
back.
hip huggers and, you know, the what they call the tube tops, halter tops, like all these things that the girls are wearing.
Right, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It just creeps its way back in somehow, you know?
Yep. Because even like on certain shows, the business, like people dressed up in suits, the guys are wearing shark skin suits and like the shiny and whatnot. You know, the pinstripe now is different kind of pinstripe. Like, yeah. So I guess that makes sense that these, you know, the youngins would find it interesting to dig into the archives of the ancient gear outfits of, you know, the elderly.
And stuff. And for us, it was the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, because even the sneakers, bro, all those retro looks are coming back, you know. The Adidas, the Sambas. Yep, the Pumas. The Pumas are fucking coming back. Yep, I already got some croquettes. Yeah, so you know, the Converse, you know, got the Chucks and this, you know, different colors or whatever now, you know, a little bit more comfortable than they used to be. But you know, whatever. The Nike's got the Cortezes that they've been coming back. Those are like the, you know, like the skater looking sneakers now. And that, listen, I'm digging it because it was the shit that, you know, I wore when I was a kid.
Because we grew up then, right?
Right.
So, and now these kids are jumping on the bandwagon kind of like we did.
Yeah.
I want to have a question for you guys.
Go for it.
So do you think that they captured the whole Gen X fuck around and find out generation, I think so. The you know, latchkey kids? See, I relate to that too, because like I said, I always explain to people, like, I am a millennial because I was born 81, but I'm also in the Zennial generation, which is that micro generation, which is like in between. So like my first half of my life, my childhood was completely analog, very similar to Gen X. Latchkey kid. I had the fucking key on my, you know, around my neck. They did that in the show. Remember the couple kids had the keys around their neck, you know? I had that, you know, but then, you know, my teenage years was more digital because that's when the internet kind of spawned, and that's the difference. But so like I relate to it a lot too, like definitely from my childhood, especially those kids in the fourth grade or whatever, that's around the time.
Right. Well, see, that's the other thing too, though. We watch it and we're like, and say that, fuck around and find out.
Right.
These kids don't believe that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like they're still like, no,
different
that was
world
exaggerated. It wasn't really like that. You know, we're giving those Gen Xers a little
like, schools didn't get involved with bullying. Like,
you
had to deal with bullies at school. The teachers, if they were there, they go, oh, stop it. But they wouldn't like put you in the principal's office unless shit really
went down. Unless there was blood involved.
Parents today did what our parents did with us, as far as leaving us home. We were allowed to cook. We were watching our brothers. Don't open the door for nobody. The whole thing. You couldn't do that today.
Yeah.
Parents would get arrested.
Yeah.
They really. So I'm not
Because
they'll bring them up on charges because of really.
Oh yeah, bro. So you know it's kind of a sidebar.
So you and I are like,
like whatever. But so remember when you used to be able to. So before caller ID, before having the cell phones or whatever, you would turn around and you would get the obscene phone calls. Remember those
prank calls?
Right. The prank. Well, no. So you turn around and it was like, hello, and you're like, I see you right now.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if you're a kid in your house, you're like, who are you? Where are you? Who's this? Yeah, I can hear you screaming from the door. You're like, you're fucking having a panic attack because you can't see who the fuck called you. You know, so you don't even know if it's your friend.
But you're talking about the kids today, though.
Kids today wouldn't be able to survive that. Listen. Oh, yeah, I'm sitting here with your mom. That's what I'm fucking doing right now. You know what I mean?
Your moms are hanging out,
I'm smashing her back right now, you little sons of bitch. Get the fuck out of here and hang up the phone, kids. And now I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
You know what was
the
thing, too, that happened before caller ID is you'd have, like, the stalkers who would call and they'd hear your voice and hang up.
Right, yeah. I want to make sure you were home.
No, you would just be like, hello. Click.
Yeah, and they hang up the phone, or they would just sit there and be quiet. They wouldn't say shit.
Right.
You know? Right, or doing the fucking, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. You know, click, hang it up. Yeah. I had a few of those. And I remember one time, my mom,
just leave
the phone call. Yeah. My mom calls up and I answered the phone and I'm like, Mom, there's some guy, he's breathing hard on the phone and he's talking about he sees us. My mom's like, what? She grabs the phone and she was like, get the fuck off my phone. Like yelled at the guy and slammed the phone down. And I was like, what was that? And she's like, somebody being an asshole. If anybody calls like that, you just say fuck you and hang up the phone.
Quick story. This is not even a phone story, but it's that timeline. My mother used to go bowling.
Right.
Right. And she was on a women's league. Right.
Right.
There was a guy going around in the neighborhood flashing people.
I remember them too.
This guy came into the bowling alley.
It happens.
And because they said they was coming in the bowling alley and he would run out.
Yeah.
My mother
Naked
started laughing
coat,
at him.
right?
She pointed at him and started laughing, and the guy fucking ran out.
Oh, that's how you
Yeah, dude, yeah. Because
I gotta get the hell out of here.
do you even hear about that anymore?
No,
you don't even hear about anybody flashing.
That's not the big news.
No, you.
Wow, fair enough.
I remember
yeah.
that was like, especially in the city, that was
Right.
always a
Yeah.
joke. Like how many cartoon strips had like a guy in a trench
Yeah,
coat?
trench coat. Nah. Dude, yeah, you don't even hear about that shit anymore. You don't. I mean, you might hear about a guy, or well, mostly the guys, because dudes are just fucking perverts.
Right.
But if you hear about them,
it really was.
well, no, even like today, like you would hear about them. They turn around, they're in the train or on the bus or whatever. And like in front of a chick and whatnot.
Right,
saying that kind of stuff. Like you hear about that, but you don't hear about the flashers like that
anymore. I don't know. But we're gonna have to look into that to see if it's still
that
happening.
was such a.
I think it is. It's sexual harassment is really.
Yeah, right.
I used to hear about that a lot. You're right. That was a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weird time. It really was.
Yeah.
When it came to like shit like that, there was a lot of really strange.
I wonder I wonder if it was, think about it. The boomers, everything for them was like, this is what it's got to be. This is where we're at. These are the way things have to, this is how life moves. You do these things. So then now when you're looking at the 60s and 70s, when people getting a little bit finding themselves and who they really are, guys and girls. You know what I'm saying?
I think the show really captured that essence.
Yeah.
In just the crazy times that
you said the Wheelers, bro, they were fucking
They did a good
gangster.
job on it.
Yeah.
They did. They did very cars, the music, like you
Mhm.
said, the Gen X, just the whole vibe, the way they did it.
Right.
It was great,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. So I think that was a show that, like, again, it really captured the 80s well.
Yeah.
And you never know. There might be other shows that like
Spinoffs
from it that come out.
Or they
Which
could
would be
show
interesting to see.
Or they could show a spinoff on how they started the whole program, because they could do a backtrack story, maybe take place in the 70s,
Or they could make it where these kids that later in the future they wind up going
Mm-hmm.
into a certain area where they're investigating weird phenomenon and helping people out who are going kind of through the things they went through, because now they have that experience.
Yeah.
But now remember, they were trying to restart the program. They were using the blood.
Mhm.
And they were trying to restart. Now, all those pregnant women, what happened? They were in the upside down, so they died with the upside down, right?
they got stuck in there,
Could that be a
whatever.
loose end too? That like the pregnant women got out? Because here's the thing: like they were giving Callie's blood. They were giving Callie's blood to the pregnant women, right?
Yes.
But like those women were very much in their 9th trimester. They don't need her blood anymore. You can have a premature baby at like 6 months.
Well, right. Well,
so
again, but like you said, depending on where, like technically, like you're saying, depending on where they were.
Yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure that was in the upside down, so I'm pretty sure they got
but,
deleted.
Because the
point,
upside
though.
down wasn't destroyed. The upside down, right?
That's what
it was. The tunnel, like I said, the
tunnel was the upside down.
That was
that's
the
right.
upside
Yeah.
That's
you're
why I
right.
remember where they were trying to
That
figure out
dimension
that
was
wall.
coming through that.
They
That's
thought
right.
like, there was something on the other side of the wall, but no, that was the edge.
That's
of,
right.
of
Yes,
that
that's
was
right.
the
That's
edge
what
of
he did.
reality. That was the
Yeah,
edge.
that's
And then
right.
to have that
So
crazy
then-
scene with all plastic, it looked like
That was the
plants
firmament.
melting and
Yeah.
everything like that.
So then, yeah. Yes.
I'm
Yes.
referencing Flat Earth. It's the same reference, technically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the end of the
World,
thing. So that then, they could, if they decided they want to do it. I hope they don't. Because I think it would just take away from all that we've already seen. So many times that they've
But
done
they
that
could
shit.
do a prequel. They could do a prequel. They could show Henry's story, because they really.
Well, that's true.
Where did that fucking stone come from? They didn't explain anything. It was just this weird stone that was in
he
a
got from that
briefcase.
guy in that briefcase.
But they don't. Like,
Right.
what the hell is that thing?
Well,
Like,
then they might
how
do
did
like
that
where
guy
did it come
get it
from?
right.
Where did that guy get it from?
But then that would be the way of a Star Wars thing, and that would be the animated series.
there you
They could
go.
do that too. They
Could
could
be an
do it.
animated series. I'm
They
down
could.
for that.
You just tell the story, because like
Right.
there's a lot missing. Like he got this stone and then he got this power, and then the thing called to him, "Come to me," which was the Vecna's voice.
And
But
then he sucked
so
that guy's
Vecna's
eyes out of
voice
his
really
head.
was the voice of that spider, the giant spider thing.
Right.
From fictional loss
Yeah,
to real loss.
Yes.
We're going to talk about more serious topics. This is about, euthanasia and pet loss. And maybe Luke can talk a little bit if he wants to. I know this is a topic that is close.
Well, like you guys know already, this
Yeah.
past Friday, we had to let our Jeter go because he was suffering from lymphoma, and it was just getting to the point where we just didn't want him to suffer anymore. And that's, as far as euthanasia was concerned, we had someone come to the house. It was a service. And we did it not only because we wanted it to be comfortable for us, but it was really more so for the other dogs, because it helps them, because it's a kind of a shock when you take a dog that you got to help out, cross to the other side, Rainbow Bridge, all that stuff. But then when you come back and you don't have them with you anymore, it messes up the animals for quite a while, till they fit in their own way, they work it out.
Right.
But like them, they're like us, as far as being able to have some kind of closure.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what's going on, and then they just go through the motions the same way. And the service that came was fantastic. It was probably, I will never do it in a vet's office ever again. Being at home was the best thing.
It's better for the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. It's so much better. I mean, and it's a good thing. You're home, you're comfortable, you get to grieve. These people are so professional. This woman who came, she was fantastic. I'm just glad it happened. The reason I think we bringing up the euthanasia thing is because we now know that it's becoming more common, also not only with animals, but we're trying to start to do it more in this country. With people. I know Governor Hochul just did something in reference to physicians being able to have permission to help someone cross. Now, it's a law. I'll look it up in a few minutes and I'll get the exact information. But that's really good. That's a good step forward.
Yeah, I think so.
Because, when you think about it, right, we think, well, why is it okay for our animals, but why is it so bad for human beings? Human beings suffer tremendously from disease and things that they get, that they're going through life. Unfortunately, this happens. We get older, and if we can get through life with minor stuff happening, great, but logically something is going to come up where, you might get cancer. This might happen, whatever it is, you're going to be at a point where your family is going to say, hey, we just want him to go peacefully. We don't want him to suffer anymore. We know there's no bringing them back. Let's just help them on their journey to get them to where they need to go. They're at peace. And then you go through your grieving process, So that's where I'm at right now. I'm still in the grieving process. Yeah. So for me, it's going to be a little while. And the dogs are too. I can see it I can see it in Liberty. I can see the patients that are kind of a little off. You can see certain things that they're doing that just don't, not their normal. So you can see them looking and wondering, hey,
where is he?
Where is he? Even though they were there with the whole thing.
Right.
They're still going through the motions. So I think it's important for us to take care of ourselves. And I think death is not a bad thing, right? As long as it, obviously, there's bad ways to die. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, I know that. But I'm saying it's something that's part of life that we need to be able to be comfortable talking about, the same as we talk about everything else. So, I mean, how do you guys feel about that when it comes to that kind of stuff? You comfortable with that kind of stuff, or is that something you're not big on?
I think if someone is in pain and suffering and they are definitely going to die, euthanasia should be an option. I think instead of hospice. Hospice is about making people comfortable on their last days. But what if you could just end it earlier and not suffer? If you're in immense pain, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense to want to stay alive and be in pain, especially and I'm going to real extremes here, but I'll give the example, and there's nothing they could do for the pain is when people who have radiation poisoning. We're talking about the Chernobyl. If you saw that Chernobyl series a few years ago, that's just falling apart on a cellular level, just literally just turning into goop.
Yeah, right.
And they can't even administer pain medication. It doesn't work. Just let the guy die.
Yeah.
Right. Just let him, let him move on. There's no reason to let someone suffer like that. It just makes no sense to me. That I think is a perfect example of someone who, accidentally got into radiation and now they're just dying because their radiation is like breaking down their cells
Right.
and they're just melting. Like that kind of. Why would you want to keep someone? Why make someone suffer?
Well, it's the same with the cancers too.
Yes,
because what Jeter had
late stage cancer. Yeah,
Right.
I told you guys I had that. I was using ChatGPT from the beginning to end with everything that was going on with him, and a lot of the stuff that the steps. Well, you're going to see this. He's going to go through that. At one point, once you start to see, like, for instance, he was starting to get uncomfortable where he couldn't get comfortable on anything, whether it was the couch, the bed, the floor. He just kept getting up. And then from the medications and all these, the water and just the different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the point, you're like, he's suffering.
Yeah, right.
Let him go.
Yep.
Let him go. Don't be selfish. And it's normal to feel that way because you don't want to lose him. You don't want to say, hey,
exactly.
I want to let you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hard part, but you're doing the right thing. You know, as much as it hurts, it's part of the process. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you hope that someone your family, and you do it, they'll do that for you or whoever else if they have their own pets and things like that. I think it's a natural thing. I think it's right. And, you know, the grieving part is the hardest. I've gone through it a couple of times already with my other dogs. It's never easy.
Mm-hmm.
They're all different, you know, but, I'm going to miss him dearly, you know, and it sucked. And I want to just share something. So what I did for him the day that we let him go, I took him for a walk. His last walk, he couldn't make it for the last 3/4 of the walk all the way around the block. Sorry, guys.
That's so good. Go ahead.
So I picked him up. I told him, I got you. Picked him up. He didn't growl. He wasn't uncomfortable. He's just looking around. And I would walk him. I walked him the whole way around. Brought him home. Because you want to make that last part for them. That's what they have in their head. Nothing traumatic, nothing bad, right? For anybody, right? Even your family. You want it to be whatever memories you have. You want to give them that last moments, feeding them the same time as you always do. You don't change nothing. You keep going through the motions.
Right.
That I apologize for getting emotional.
No sorries.
But I wanted everything to. He was just not aware of anything, and he was just going through a normal day, like every day, and not to change it. But I was there for him.
Right.
When he needed to go up the stairs, I brought him up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you just try to do all the right things, and you hope that someone does the same for you, and your kids do the same for their animals and things like that. You know, and so on. So, it's a lesson too in life. You know, no matter how much we think we're good with something,
right,
and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, you're never going to get past the emotional part when there's a connection with somebody or something that you have.
1,000,000%.
It's just gonna affect you, and that's okay. And you have to go through those steps and those process. You know, it's just what it is. Whether it's somebody in your family or an animal, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think euthanasia is something that should be more available. Like other countries, I think like this other. I don't know them off the top of my head, but there are other countries on the globe that do this.
Sure,
it's not a big deal for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's only here, you know, because we're so caught up in our own shit.
Right.
So everything's politicized.
Right, exactly. It's just ridiculous, you know. It's a normal thing. But in other places, it's okay. If you decide, you say, you know what, I'm in pain, I don't want to do that, and you can make the decision. Say you're still bodily able and you're able. And if they give you the okay, you go ahead and do it.
Right.
Which is fantastic, I think.
Right. Oh, yeah, no, it is.
As long as it's not for like stupid shit where you're just taking advantage of it. Like, I'm sure there's a process, right? That they, like, you don't feel good today? All right, you feel like you want to just, you know.
Oh, yeah, no. Right. No, it's the
thing.
physical, not the mental.
They're not going to let you end your life for.
Right.
Yeah, because you're having, you know, a mental breakdown or whatever I'm saying.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like you're going to die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, I feel like if I didn't, you know, I don't have any pets now, but if I had a pet that it was on their last days, you know what I feel like I would do for them? I would give, you know how, like, you know, when you're eating dinner and they're always begging for whatever food that he was always or she was always begging for, give them that food. I'd make it for them. I want a cheeseburger.
Yeah, you got this cheeseburger and fries. Eat the shit out of that cheeseburger.
We did that with the chicken we had left over from Christmas Eve.
It's like
the fondue.
Let them have it. You know, it's their last days. It's not gonna harm them. You know?
Oh yeah.
We took all the raw chicken, cooked it up with whatever we had left over.
Yeah.
and we cooked it up, and then I had it, and I was putting it on all of their food.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want it,
Right. Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
overthink
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
right? Because we think the other dogs will get upset. They don't think like us.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's a whole other fucking story. But I gave him majority because I wanted him as much protein as he possibly had.
Right.
And he was still eating it. That was the one thing I have to say.
Yeah. He was
He was
eating.
still eating and wanting to eat.
Right.
So we were using pumpkin to help him with the medication because he loved pumpkin. He just take it. He wasn't even thinking about it. It was on the spoon. Boom. Took it.
Right.
Boom.
You can let them enjoy for once a piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, here you can
check
have
this
a
out.
piece,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
what
No, they'd
it's
probably be
like.
pissed off. What the hell is the rest of it?
You've been
give me the
holding
shit.
down
You
this whole
mother
time.
son of a.
Yeah.
Give me my
Right.
shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me
But
that
no,
chocolate. I want a
certain
Reese's.
things that you could give them certain things without
Mhm.
worrying about them getting sick about
Yeah.
it, so they can
True.
enjoy it.
Mhm.
Have that last because they love.
And you would
Yeah.
do that. You would do that. Like my brother and I kidded around once, or we were talking. So Lou, what? Something came up, and I think he asked me. It might have been him, but let's just say it was my brother. Would you give Dad if, even though he didn't smoke for a long time and he was on his deathbed, and let's say he said, I would give. I said I give. Not only would I give him a fucking cigarette, it would be a Camel's,
Yeah.
and I give him a fucking beer, and I
Yeah.
drink one with him
Hell yeah.
because what's gonna happen?
Right. Yeah.
That's you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going.
Mhm.
Let him go fucking some dignity and fucking have him enjoy the thing. Say, hey, listen, it's not going
Yeah,
to
the
kill
last
me.
one,
I'm
it's not going to
already
matter. Yeah, it's already
dying.
over. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think what you're saying is absolutely true. I think
And-
that's the right thing to do.
And the other thing I was thinking now, and this is the reason why euthanasia should be allowed, is because you're allowed to pull the plug on somebody. Why can't you let
Assist
someone
them.
assist them in?
Well,
in
you know what?
Because they're dying.
So what you're saying now, just by what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? Believe people subconsciously, heartfelt. We all are hoping for that last minute Hail Mary that there's a cure.
Like,
You know what I mean?
But
there's a cure. Like I can get
Yeah.
this shot tomorrow morning and I'm gonna be cured of cancer by the end of the week. Like it's always that
I know
that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
You got
in
that
your
hope.
head,
Yeah. But then and I get it and I understand, but when you're not the one in pain,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? When you're not the one suffering, it's easy to come up with all that stuff.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I
Exactly.
made the jokes, like for me personally, I made the jokes because having arthritis, and I'm like, oh my God, make me a cyborg.
Right.
Huh.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this way, all I got to do is get some grease, some oil in that bitch, and I can go. But there's no pain. You know what I'm saying? The pain
Right.
when it happens is fucking real. I'm not comparing my pain of arthritis to, anybody with cancer and going through the chemo, whatever. I'm not comparing at all.
Right.
I'm just saying just the thought process, For me right now, if I had that kind of money, would be me getting, just adamantium freaking, bones and joints and shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to be like Wolverine and just have metal skeleton. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's why people want to hold on, because you never know what could happen in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
What could happen tomorrow afternoon? You know what I'm saying? I think that's why, just going by what what you said, that might be what it is. But we ran a little long today, bro.
Yeah. Well, hang out.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Real quick, just so you know, I just want to read something about Governor Hochul. So Governor Kathy Hochul signed several bills, laid physician assistant PAs into New York law, primarily in late 2024. These laws have modernized PA practices, standards, and expanded their roles to improve healthcare and access. Key bills signed, and so it just goes through some of the bills.
Right,
but
right.
One of them was to be the physician to be able to help that person with crossing over.
Right. Yeah. Well, remember back, real quickly too. Remember back when there was a movie with Eric Roberts, It's My Party. I don't know if you guys ever seen it or heard of it.
one.
So it was It's My Party, and he was dying. He knew he was, but before he got too sick to function,
Right.
he was having his party, his goodbye party. So he had all his friends and family over, and he had that nifty big ass party in his house. And at the end of the night, he was going into the room, and then he was gonna be, he was taking the meds or whatever
So
to
he was going
help him
to
pass.
take his own life.
Yeah, before he got so bad where he was too frail to be able to function,
Yeah.
and he didn't want anybody to see him be that kind of frail.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
To
know.
be that kind of, like, just lack of a better word, that kind of fucked up.
Yeah. well,
He wanted everybody to see and
Right.
remember him. Oh my God, the last party we had with him, he was bugging out.
Pee
We
Wee
drank,
Herman.
we had a ball.
I remember I'm sorry, 1 second. Can you
Yeah,
mind?
no, yeah.
So in Star Trek, I think it was Star Trek 5, where McCoy, where Spock's brother is able to make you see things, help you go through certain
Right,
things. Right?
yes.
So McCoy was, the one scene is where McCoy with his dad, and his dad was dying. And his father kept asking him, release me, release me. He's like, I
Yeah.
can't do that, Dad.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And then he kept intervening, Cyborg talking to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why'd you? He was in pain. I had to let him go. But then that wasn't the worst. He's like, no, because later on they found a cure.
Right.
So now he's twisted.
Yes.
Because I just let my father die.
Yes.
But then later on, like a couple months later or whatever it was, they came out with a cure.
Right.
So that's the whole thing. You can't do that to yourself, because if it's not present, you got to do what you got to do.
There you
man.
go.
You know what I mean? You just got to help those people along. And it's the humane thing to do, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we talked about some interesting stuff. We talked about some really wild stuff happening locally in the grave robin. We recapped Stranger Things, and we talked about some serious topic like euthanasia. So
Yes.
So very important is to please, if you can, hit that subscribe button.
I think you're gonna go something a little bit deeper. Like, yes,
Facebook,
yes.
Instagram, and YouTube, of course.
Yes.
YouTube, hit that subscribe, and
Please,
you want your comments for sure.
Yeah, and we're hoping that you can leave some comments, drop some comment, and also our next episode. Take it away, Lou.
We're gonna have Zoe on. All right.
Yeah.
So, young lady that I know who is a playwriter, and she'll be on Friday. Zoe graduated with a bachelor's of fine arts in dramatics. She came out dramatic arts from NYU Tisch School of the Arts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This summer, I'll read this again when we do the episode.
Of course.
The play is called Dirt, and we will go over that play with her and how she got it and what it means and why she wrote it. And there was a couple of other ones we're going to share too, as well, that she sent me.
Cool.
So we'll go over that well. So it's going to be interesting. She's good people, down to earth, young lady. I think it's going to be a good interview.
Yeah, definitely will be. Yeah. For sure. For shizzle my nizzle.
Yeah.
So with that being said, bitches, thank you everybody for listening, watching. Like the guy said, like, follow, subscribe, all the other good stuff. Love, peace, and hair grease.
Live long and prosper.
And we'll see you again.